Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Off the Charts. This is episode 372. And I've got myself two guests today because why? I'm going to be doing a thrash music episode. And which better people to ask than my friend from uh, Orleans, Pascal, also. How's it going?
I'm good. I'm good. We've come a long way since high school, haven't we?
Yeah.
Internet didn't really exist back then, but if it had, we would have never thought of discussing
No,
thrash
no.
metal on on the same channel.
And of course, another guy that knows his thrash is Keith from New Zealand. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, thank you, Dan. Happy to talk about one of my favorite metal genres, which is thrash. Yeah.
Perfect. So I'm going to show these guys what I have in my collection of thrash music, and they'll give their opinion on said bands. I'm sure there's a couple that probably you don't even own or whatever, but well, like I said, everybody knows them or knows something about these bands. I'm not a big thrash expert, so I thought I'd ask these two guys to help me out. And this is actually the first time that someone from my clique and someone from my YouTube clique are meeting online for the first time. So, Pascal and Keith, welcome both.
I've been watching you guys on your videos, so it's just great to see to be on a panel with both of you.
Well, Pascal's going to have to come back and do another Maiden there. He's due. So,
Yeah, okay.
all right. So, I'm like I said, I am not a thrash expert, but we're gonna go through what I have in albums here or bands, whatever, and Keith and Pascal will each give us their opinion on said band. This is all alphabetical, so this is actually a pretty popular one. So, Anthrax. So let's start with Keith.
I actually have that one.
Yeah.
So that is, I think, the first full-length album that they did when Joey Belladonna came back.
Yes.
Yeah. So he was a long-time vocalist. He was out of the band. They got him back in the band. I can remember a few songs off that album. There's a zombie song, "Fight 'Em Till You Can't," I think's on that one.
Yeah, that's the fourth one.
Yeah, I did like that song at the time. I don't mind those later Anthrax albums. I actually quite like a bunch of them. And from what I remember, there's they also do a tribute song there to Judas Priest, and there's a bit about Dimebag as well, at the time on there. But I think the song I did like, another song on there is they did, what was the name of it? I'm Alive.
Yeah.
I like that song.
The
Yeah,
other
I did
song you
like that
meant,
song.
is it the song called Judas Priest?
Yeah, that's the one. Well done. You're onto it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
My
I have that on
production skills
vinyl,
are
and
quite.
you're
So,
sharp
what's
tonight.
your
You're
take
sharp.
on the
Okay.
band Anthrax?
I don't really, for me, I like individual albums, but as for them included on the big four, I think that's a bit of a debatable one. I would probably actually put the band that you've got your t-shirt on in that rather than Anthrax. That's because I'm a massive, as you know, Overkill fan. So I do like some of the albums. And I just think it's unfortunate, especially that the name they had around about that time sort of held them back, with all the good Anthrax.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit like we've got a New Zealand band called She Had, and that caused them a few problems. So, but
Oh,
yeah,
jihad, as in.
yeah, she had, yeah,
I see.
jihad, yeah, that was the name of the band.
I thought you said she had, as in she
Oh
had
yeah.
to go to.
Mm.
Okay.
Sometimes the name of the band you pick can,
Yeah.
something to do with the trajectory of how the band goes. But
Perfect. All right. Thank you for that, Mr. Pascal. Your thoughts on Anthrax?
My thoughts on Anthrax. I don't mind that they're considered part of the big four, along with Metallica, Megadeth, and Slayer. Um, I actually like Anthrax from the first album I heard, which was, I believe, Among the Living in the 80s.
Hmm.
Um, Yeah, I'm as massive a fan of Overkill as you are, Keith, I think. Um, and I
Mm.
would certainly think that say that they're my favorite thrash band, but I don't know. Don't mind if they're excluded from the from the big four or not. Yeah, I find they're a great band. They kind of had their difficulties by the end of the 90s. I think they kind of went away almost for all of the first decade of the 2000s. Yeah, and there was some backlash with them, I think, for some reason. I kept reading, well, I don't like them because they wear shorts. Um,
Yeah.
never under, never understood that kind of. For me, it's about the music. Don't really care what you wear. So, so
The
yeah, yeah.
Bermuda shorts, yes.
Mm.
Yeah, so one of the things about them is that contrary to a lot of a lot of other bands in thrash, they're one of the ones that has a clean singer. So that's maybe another reason why a lot of thrash fans or some thrash fans don't like them. They're not extreme enough, maybe.
I never even thought about that. I like Anthrax also. I don't have them all there. I do prefer the John Bush era over the Belladonna, but the Belladonna seems to have the better hit songs, I guess. But as a whole, I would probably go with John Bush there, but that's just me. All right, well, that's Anthrax then. Next up, Pascal was with me when I bought this. He'll start laughing when I talk about it there, but Celtic Frost. Mr. Keith, any comments on Celtic Frost?
Oh,
Or
that's a
Celtic
really
Frost, is it?
interesting. Yeah, yeah. Celtic,
Is it
Celtic.
Celtic or Celtic Frost? That's a big debate, actually,
Mm.
right there.
I'd go with Celtic.
Okay.
I've always said Celtic, but
Yep.
I also say Ingwe. So
Yeah. But he goes with the Boston Celtics. That was your argument, right, Pascal?
yeah, so I don't really know which way to go on this
Yeah.
one.
All right, Mr. Keith, Celtic Frost.
Okay. Well, a lot of metal guys worship their really early stuff in another band before Celtic Frost, the Hellhammer, and they're a sort of band that a lot of people have taken lots of different things from, and they've gone in some really interesting directions. Tom G Warrior is the Swiss band, Tom G Warrior, of course, and he developed his own sort of death growl, which was sort of imitated a bit there. So that one, you've got their Emperor's Return. I think that's the second one. It's quite often
I don't
packaged
know.
with the one before it, which is Morbid Tales, and I think there's a song on there called Morbid Tales, and I do like that song. But this song Into the Crypts of Rays was on the Speed Kills compilation, which sort of got me into the band. I'm not. I don't think it's on that one,
No,
but
it's not.
anyway, yeah, it's on a compilation, and
Okay.
that sort of piqued my interest about that band. Really interesting band. They change quite often from record to record, and I have the album, the only actual Celtic Frost album that I have is Into the Pandemonium, and it's a weird one. It's very avant-garde sort of thing, and it's all over the place. You've got to be sort of in the right mood to sort of listen to it. They do a version of the song Mexican Radio by Wall of Voodoo. I don't know. You might know that single. I'm on Mexican
I know the
radio.
song. Is that the
Yeah,
album?
yeah.
It's like a mirror, a cracked mirror?
No, that's Vanity
It.
Nemesis.
Oh,
Oh yeah, Vanity Nemesis. Yeah. This one's sort of like a ancient old painting in it,
oh okay. All
and I'd pull it out, but it'd take me about 10 minutes to go through about 50 different things. But for yourself, like I'm saying, I was telling you that they change things up quite often. There's an album that they did that very much like the Pantera thing. When Pantera first, they want to ignore those early albums that are more sort of commercial and all that.
Mhm.
Celtic Frost came back, and this annoyed people so much. They did a sort of glammy type album, or very commercial, called Cold Lake. You might like that one.
It's on my wish list, actually.
Yeah. It's a hard one to find. I've been looking for it on CD and vinyl for a long time, and I've never seen it. And the band won't even sign the front of it. If you go to one of their signings, they won't even sign. That's how much they go. They just
I've
wanted to
got it.
completely.
Have
Oh, you're lucky. Yeah.
Has he got
Yeah.
a story for you? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll pass over to you, Pascal, to continue on with it.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I saw them live back in the early 2000s, I think it was, and I brought all my CD albums to get signed, and my friend at the time said, "Oh, don't remove Cold Lake from the pile. He
mm,
Tommy G Warrior hates that, and he's just gonna probably just crush it or something." And I said, "Ah, too bad. I'm taking the risk." And when I got in front of him, he starts signing, and he gets to that album, and he looks at me like, "What the fuck?" And I said, "Hey, I like it." And he signed it. Said, "Worst piece of shit ever," or something like that on it.
yeah.
So I have it signed at least. So he
Oh,
he
that's
was,
cool.
he was
Yeah.
nice about it. I knew
Yeah.
going in that I was risking it, but it's nice.
Mm.
It's all good.
They
But
might
yeah,
chuck you out. Get
they
out.
never got that one remastered or anything. They got everything else remastered from their old days, but not that one.
Mm.
Probably take a while.
Yeah.
What's
So
your
I don't
take
know how
on
rare it is on record, but CD, I saw it a couple of times at the time.
what's your take on Celtic Frost then?
Um, yeah, they're hard to peg. A lot of people wouldn't say they're all that thrash. Maybe their first few albums, and I do think some parts of Vanity Nemesis kind of fit the bill. But they were way more experimental than most bands. A lot of they inspired a lot of the other extreme movements that came afterwards. So a lot of people who have or who do death metal or black metal would say probably that Celtic Frost is an early influence. So they influenced a lot. Probably one of the first extreme bands
Mhm.
from the 80s to use orchestration, opera voices, and that kind of stuff in their music.
I still remember that Circle of Tyrants video that you kept showing us there as teens there.
Mm.
That's
Oh,
from
the
that
album
one,
I've
right?
got, they do French poetry, so
Yeah, they do. They do. They do have
yeah.
a kind of a French poem kind of song going on one of their album. I
Mm.
think it's on it's on the third album, I think, right?
Yeah.
Into the
I don't know.
Pandemonium.
Well, what's the isn't third album Cold Lake?
Could be. I always wonder how to count them because of that Morbid Tales things where they combined
Mm.
the two
Mm.
EPs.
Yeah.
So if you count Morbid Tales as an album, it's Cold Egg would be fourth.
Okay. What's the story with
Did you
Morbid
look?
Tales?
The what?
What's the story with Morbid Tales?
I think it's the combination of two EPs, right, Keith? They put two.
It does come out with the one that Dan's got, Emperor's Return and Morbid Tales. They're packaged together, but I
Ah,
think
okay, okay.
it's a lot of early. Yeah, Morbid Tales is a lot of early stuff.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
this,
I've never seen it, but it's been reissued. But I'm just wondered if you like that album, Dan. If there's anything on there that you
oh yeah,
enjoyed.
I love the cover. Okay, let me put it this way. I don't mind Circle of Tyrants. Is it on my turntable every day? No. But I do remember the song Circle of Tyrants back when we used to tape videos. And I actually don't mind Cherry Orchards or whatever it's called there or pronounced. So Don't know much about Celtic or Celtic Frost. All right, next band here. I know Pascal knows about it, but I'm curious. I don't think Keith knows about this one. So, Erotic Hill.
No, I like the cover though.
Well, take a guess as to why I bought this, first of all. All right, we'll go to Pascal first regarding this since he
Get better. Got
this.
nothing.
Yeah, yeah. That's not something you could easily find in the 80s. Actually, it's kind of a demo sort of album, if I remember correctly. And the only reason why it stuck with us in our imagination was um, I don't know if it was part of some kind of your magazines, Dan, because you used to read Metal Edge and that stuff. I used to read mostly
Yeah, I think it was more on the Metal Hammer side.
yeah, I used to read Metal Maniacs, which
Yeah,
focused more on thrash. And there was an ad for this album from Erotic Hill, and the cover was slightly different though.
yeah. I think it's in
That's
here
that's a
too.
remade cover, but it looks pretty much like the original, but the original was lost apparently. And so yeah, they made this cassette. Yeah, that's the original
That's the original right here, and there's the
remade one.
yeah. So it's a little bit like the first Iron Maiden album where they lost the artwork, I guess.
So yeah, so the only reason, and at some point in the 2000s, this company, I think it's Dive Bomb. Is it the same for you? Dive Bomb record that released
Yes,
this?
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Dive Bomb.
And I remember seeing as soon as I saw, oh, they're releasing Erotic Kill, because you could never find that in the 80s. It was just a demo kind of thing. And I told Dan, and we each got on the internet, tried to get it. Is it great? No. It's pretty generic. It's pretty generic. It comes in around 1990, so you're starting to get a lot of excess baggage in terms of thrash, but it's still fun to have.
Yeah, more for the cover than the music there. It's a good story to tell. And to add to Pascal's story is when I saw the cover, I'm like, I want to buy that. And then completely forgot about that album until he found out that it got remastered and reissued. He goes, well, remember that in high school when you said you wanted this? Well, now you have no excuse. Because Pascal's caught me on my shit so many times when I said, oh, I want to get that. And then when it came time, I'm like, no, I'm not going to get that. But this time I actually stayed true to my word. Okay,
I want to get that.
you're going to get that?
Yeah, I have looked for it.
Erotic Hill Virgin Speed. There you go.
Okay.
All right, next up. This is a debatable one. I thought they were thrash. Pascal said maybe not, but Exciter. And again, you can see why I got the album. Mr. Keith, any thoughts on Exciter?
I love the Cider. Yeah, I've got the I think the first album, Heavy Metal Maniac, came out in early 80s. I think it was probably yeah, that's the only one I got. So this band is really close to you guys, isn't it?
The
From
guitarist,
Ottawa, yeah.
I think, lives like 5 houses down.
Yeah.
No, it's not true.
And well, I believe it.
But they are from Ottawa. They are from
Ottawa,
Ottawa.
yeah. And isn't the lead singer, isn't his name Dan as well?
Dan Beeler, yeah, and then one of them works at Fleet Music. That's the one on in the West End, Pascal. There, anyway, there's a Fleet Music store, like a Steve's or a music store, and then he works there, or used to anyway. Anyway, sorry, Keith, go ahead.
Well, I'm thinking when I see them, I think speed metal.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that's what I was told.
But yeah, I can see why people would think they're thrash, because thrash sort of came from like people who like punk. It's not a big leap for them to like the early thrash because it's fast, 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 fast. And I've always liked music that is faster, and it gets me more energized than slower stuff. So I can understand what people would call that
Okay.
thrash. The singer, he's one of those singers that on some of the songs he's just destroying his voice when he shrieks. Like Brian Johnson, and really like his on vocals on that. And the songs are catchy. You can sing the choruses. So I do like that band, and I have listened to that. It's been a while. I made a point to listen to a lot of the songs, and I think that song at the start, there's quite a long build up before he gets into it, but right through that album, he just shrieks, Dan, and just jumps on those songs and just the choruses and everything. Really enjoyable, but I would say probably more speed metal than
Fair.
thrash. That's just my opinion. Yeah,
And
and
Pascal?
yeah, just got
Oh, sorry.
it's right.
Yeah, for just by coincidence, a few days ago, I was listening to or I was watching videos on YouTube for thrash videos. Just I guess just because there's a theme, knowing that we would have this discussion tonight, um, and for some reason, I came across the video for Reign of Terror from Exciter, which is I think their 1993
Oh,
album.
Unveiling the Wicked there, that one?
No, no, I think it's from Kill or Be Killed or something like that.
Kill After Kill.
Kill After Kill.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's from one of their 90s albums.
Yeah, yeah,
And
that was like some sort of a comeback for them, I think.
yeah, and I was listening to the song and I was like, yeah, that's pretty thrashy.
Yeah.
But I re-listened to some of the early stuff because I have the first three albums. That's pretty much all I have. And I was still like, yeah, the early stuff, I wouldn't, me personally, I would put that as speed metal. I would think this has more to do with a band like Manowar than with Slayer or Megadeth.
See, the reason also, I don't know if I said this before recording, but like in hair metal, you got so many, like you got Tesla and Poison, and then they're often lumped together. Are they the same style of music? And that's kind of where my brain works, where I thought for sure that this was a thrash. So are you saying that this is more speed metal but has thrash elements at times, or?
Well, it's got the speed. Of course, if you're gonna do speed metal, that's an ingredient that's also present in thrash.
Mhm.
I find they lack the precision playing that the thrash has, and the impact, maybe the tempo changes, but that's just me. But I know that at the time, early on, they were hanging out with all these guys from
Mhm.
Metallica, Anthrax, all these people, and so yeah. I know, reading some of their stuff, there's a lot of people who consider them thrash. So
Okay.
I don't mind it. I just, for me, the first album, maybe if I went more along in their discography, I would find, like I said, Reign of Terror. I thought that was pretty thrashy. It's just their early stuff for me is more speed metal.
I used to work with a guy who was the bass player for Exciter back when at Bell there. This is back in 1999, 2000 there. But yeah, they're more popular overseas than they are here. I can tell you that right now.
I saw them in Germany. I
That
never saw
well,
them in
yeah,
Ottawa.
he had to go to Europe to go see. You saw them live? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Next one. This one I'm not really sure. Discogs says thrash, but mixed with another genre. So I'm gonna go with Guar. I bought this when we saw that show, Pascal. This is the
Okay.
only Guar album I will ever own. This is so bad. It's not. But are they thrash?
The album I have, I think it's called Scum Dogs of the Universe
Yeah, yeah,
from 1990, 1991. I would say that's pretty thrash.
yeah.
Um, do you have any any Guar, Keith? Or do you
I've got nothing. There was some talk show that I was watching on New Zealand television from I think it was from America, and the whole band came on in full costume, and I'm going, what is those guys?
Is it on
I
the
don't know if it
Joan
was
Rivers show?
something like that,
Or
and they
they did,
just
what's his Jerry?
Jerry Springer
Yeah,
or
Jerry
something.
Springer. Yeah, that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And that was the first time they came on my radar. But I haven't heard anything from them, so yeah, I'm not qualified to speak out on that one. But I know
Yeah,
that the title of the album you talked about, Pascal. I've seen that around,
yeah,
and
That is their
maybe I
most
should.
popular. Is that the one with "Sick of
yeah,
You"?
yeah.
Yeah. Keith,
I would say you're not missing that much,
yeah.
Keith.
Oh,
They're
okay.
mostly
I don't
to
find
me
them.
they're mostly a band to see live.
Yeah, it's
Oh, yeah,
and you're
yeah.
there for the
In full
visual.
costume,
Nobody
and
goes there for the
yeah.
music. Nobody.
I know Dan did a video about it. I watched his video as well. Yeah. Did
Yeah.
they say blood, and
Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
they
all things they
they
put on a?
and I actually watched it the other day where I took the camera and I looked and I started filming the floor, which was all red, full of dye or blood, whatever you want to call it there. So yeah, go Gore, I would say more entertaining live and visually than with your ears. But anyway, I wasn't sure about that one, but there are thrash elements. Okay,
I think they
this
changed they change a lot through their albums also. You remember I had their cassette the first their first album Hello, this kind
hell
of
O
yeah,
hell
a
hyphen
glorified
O.
demo kind of. That was more punk than anything else,
Yeah,
or more I don't know what other term is there for punk. Anyway, uh
we used to play that song,
hardcore.
Keith. We used to play some Gore in our first ever band,
Oh, okay.
Black and Huge.
Yeah.
It went about as good as you think. So, all right,
Oh, we can play
this
it.
Yeah, it went down well, did it? With
it was okay.
Mm.
This is you guys must know this band, so I'm expecting a lot of comments on this. And I even ranted against this guy the other day, Megadeth. Mr. Keith, what's your thoughts on Megadeth?
Well, my most recent thought is what he wasn't asked to go on that Aussie tribute, that Aussie last Black Sabbath show. He wasn't asked to go on there, Dave Mustaine, and I
So
think he was quite bitter about that. But I like Megadeth, and I got their latest album.
same here, yeah.
Yeah, and I like Dystopia as well.
Yes.
But I think there was quite a delay between those two because of COVID and because Dave had got diagnosed with throat cancer. He's a bit mouthy, but I don't mind
Just a bit,
him
right?
personally. Yeah, and he said at the end of that album, "We'll be back." So there's going to be another. He did that song, "We'll Be Back." So there's going to be another Megadeth album, I would say. I don't know that album very well. It's not one that I have in my collection. That what's it called? Colloidal,
I just honestly I just
Super
chose
Colloidal.
one that
Mm.
stood out from the
But
side sleeve stands out, so I just took that one there. No reason there.
his more recent output I've liked, and he did that Night Stalkers song with Ice-T in it from that last one, and uh, what's the other Mission to Mars? That's a good song on that. But yeah, I think he was a bit put out. He wasn't asked to play at Ozzy's final concert.
I'm sure
But
he'll
yeah,
bitch about
as a
it.
band, I like them a lot. Yeah, Megadeth.
He'll probably bitch about it because Metallica were there, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was. That's where I was sort of going with that. Yeah,
You think
can't leave that alone, can he?
Oh my
Uh,
God, no.
mm.
All right, Pascal, your thoughts on Megadeth?
um I own everything from Megadeth from the early days until Countdown to Extinction. Then I took a break when they became too radio friendly and started again. What's the one that you really like from the mid 2000s there when they
Risk?
came back? No,
Risk?
no, no. When they came back in the mid
Oh,
2000s
the one you like their
with Chris
the
Paul and
system has failed.
System has failed. Yeah, that's when I started again. But yeah, there must be three or four in a row that I
Hmm.
failed to buy in the early to late 90s. really liked them, really loved them in the 80s. Uh, I mean, what can you say? Uh, uh, what's their fourth album, Tabernush?
Rust in peace.
Rest in Peace. Rest in Peace is quite a classic. One thing I will say, I'm really glad I have the old versions that haven't been remastered because the remasters suck. Uh, the changing of how they of all the guitar sounds and everything, and putting some trumpets where there weren't there before. Yeah, so I'm really glad I got a chance to buy these things before they disappeared off the market.
Hmm. Yeah, that's Megadeth would probably be my favorite of all the thrash bands. I have everything by them. But I like I said, I did a rant what about a week or two ago, and then Mustaine and just like I and Pascal will knows I've defended Mustaine so many times, but now it's getting so hard to defend him. It's just like, oh my god, you just sound like a little bitch. Like stop it there. But yeah, I like basically everything they've done, whether it was thrash or pop or hard rock or whatever there. But you had a good point there. I forget which one of you said there with the latest stuff. They're all good, but I think Megadeth needs to take a break a little bit because they were at one time they were every 2 years was a new album, new album, new album. It's just like even myself, I'm just like, whoa, a little overwhelmed there. Like take a break to come up with a masterpiece. I don't know. That's to me just there. He's just dishing out too many albums, not taking enough time there with them. But yeah, like Keith said, Dystopia is really good. I like that one a lot. The new one is good, but I find it's forgettable right now. It's there, it's good. Do I want to listen to it? No, never. So it is that there. Okay, we got one, two, three, four more here. I'll go. This one here, if you can't have Megadeth without Metallica. Disclaimer, this is the only Metallica album I have. I bought it from my friend Yan because he bought 2 copies and I felt bad for him. That's my disclaimer. Do I listen to it? Never. Mr. Keith, your thoughts on Metallica?
I love that album.
Well, good for you.
Yeah, I've actually got 3 copies of it, and it's probably one that brought me into thrash. Really, that one. Um, I because I didn't have a lot of money, I used to go into the library and you could read all the Rolling Stone magazines in the library, and they'd get them pretty recent from the States. You could get all the music magazines.
Mhm.
So I'd go in there and just to keep up with things, I'd read about it. And at the time, I didn't know much about Metallica, but I read about that album and how it was going down really well. So I just went out straight out and bought it. Loved it. Knew nothing about like without the internet and that about the strange production on it. Like there's no bass or
I
anything
didn't
like that.
catch on to that at the time.
I didn't get on. No, that's I didn't catch on to that either at the time, and they're quite difficult songs to replicate live.
Hmm.
And that's what sort of drew me in. They were quite long, and there were different parts to it that I liked. And the riffs on it were amazing, like that riff, the Dyer's Eve. I love Harvester of Sorrow. That's actual side of the album that I like all the songs on that. Frayed Ends of Sanity and Shorter Straw. That's the side I'd play over and over again, probably the most. I didn't mind one when it came out, and because the video was a bit different from your usual videos you watched
Yeah.
on the music channels. But now it's sort of I'm a bit tired of that, slightly tired of that song. It's not one that I play much. But just my introduction to a lot of things, that album. That's why I'm very fond of it,
Okay.
and I do take it out and give it a spin every now and again because the copies I've got is one from back then, and it just sounds good to me. Even though, yeah, like I said at the time, had no idea about they'd mess with the production on it. You know.
Would you believe that album is actually the first metal? That's the first thrash I ever heard. Pascal had lent me a cassette of Metallica and Justice for All, and I lent him. I don't know if you remember this, Pascal. I lent you Kiss smashes, thrashes, and hits.
I remember. Yeah, I didn't remember it was a
And
mutual. Uh,
I'll talk about it after, but this just for that was my first expo. It was sorry, between this and State of Euphoria by Anthrax. One of the two. I just forget which one was first, but this was definitely a first time for me. Like I was like, "Oh, what is this? This is not catchy like I know it there." But anyway, Mr. Pascal, your thoughts on Metallica?
My thoughts on Metallica. Well, first of all, this album. Well, that's the great period for me for Metallica. Their first four albums. I kind of have. I listened to it last winter. Um, Again after probably like 30 years of not listening to it. Actually, most of the Metallica stuff I have not listened to for a while, and then last winter I listened to them for the first time in quite a few decades. I think I think they've done a lot of damage to themselves for with regarding the old fans with a lot of the shenanigans that have been going on for quite a few years with some of their albums. Same thing for me as Megadeth. After the Black Album, and even with the Black Album, when I got it in cassette, I sold it. Uh, got it again on CD many years later, and yeah, okay, at this point, I was more ready to accept it. But I never heard Load or Reload, and I laughed all the way through Saint Anger. But someone had lent it to me, and I couldn't believe my ears. And then I started buying them again with what's it called? Anyways, in the 2000s, in the you know
Hardwired something there?
Death Magnetic,
Yeah.
and then Hardwired. I didn't buy the latest one. Um, so yeah, I really I adored Metallica back in the 80s, but with a lot of the stuff that they did afterwards,
That's true, folks.
yeah. I mean, I just can't get into some of the stuff. I mean, great. They gained some new fans, and that's all great. Doesn't mean I have to follow in with that stuff.
Because I'm
So
gonna
yeah.
quote, I'm gonna quote this guy Pascal from high school. You just watch, Metallica is gonna be the big band soon, and I was like, whatever. But they became big, I guess, for you for the wrong reasons.
I think after Injustice for All, they could have released anything, and they would have. There was so much hype around
Yeah.
them at
Mm.
that point that everything was lined up for them. I mean, the Black Album is quite good for what it is, but that one is not a thrash album to me.
No,
No.
and I'll back you up for that. I still remember when you bought that album on cassette. We listened to it at your house, and it's like, okay, this is good, but there's no thrash in this here. It was, I think that was maybe Through the Never, which was the heaviest song on the
Yeah.
album. That was kind of the one you were liking the most. But Keith, I'm gonna give you a little anecdote here. Would you believe that me, Pascal, my sister, and his sister went to see Metallica for the Black Album? And while in line, I don't know if you remember this, Pascal, we were actually interviewed by a radio station. You remember that?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Good.
And my mom the next day goes, "Was that you on the radio?" I'm like, "Well, that was Pascal at first, and then me." I'm basically just saying, "Yeah, I'm just here for a good time or whatever." Pascal's talking about war and this and that about the songs. I'm like, I don't fucking know what these songs are about. I'm just here for a concert. But yeah, we were interviewed Dan was interviewed to talk about Metallica on the radio, on the local radio here. Yeah. So
And you just said, "Oh, someone else dragged me along. I don't really know why I'm here," type thing.
I don't remember what I said. I remember Pascal
Ah,
talking about, oh, they do songs about war and this and that. I
hmm.
just said, I'm just here for a
Here
show
for the
or
music.
something like that there. I don't
I don't
know.
remember what I talked about.
I remember you talking about the war. That's about it.
Yeah.
Don't you guys, Steph and Pas, don't you call them the concert whore or something like that, who go to any concert?
Sorry. Man, that went down the wrong hole. Oh, you ever try snorting Grand Marnier? Oh,
Oh,
okay.
sorry,
No, that'll make for good content. Oh my God, my eyes are watering. Steph, there's two Stephs in my gang. Concert Whore Steph did one episode with me, while the other Steph is the one that does the Battle of the Albums with me and goes to concerts with me in bars. But my friend Concert Steph, which is the concert whore, I guess you would call him there, like myself. He's been on one episode where we talked about. Oh my God, my nose is. Sorry, guys, stupid. Okay, I'm gonna. Anyway, that's the difference between Steph and Concert Steph. Okay, next.
So it's not true that you won't go to any band, you won't, whatever concert's on, you'll go to it. That's not true.
That not anymore. Okay, Concert Steph was the one where we decided to go. Hey, let's try something new. And we went to see U2 and Tragically Hip. And after those two shows, we were like, nope, no more of these little tries here. That's that Concert Steph.
Steph had invited me to that.
Yeah, tell Keith your response to that. For the, I think it was the Tragically Hip one.
Tragically Hip.
Yeah.
Is that a band that's even known in New Zealand?
No, but I know it's massive in Canada.
It's
Yeah.
probably they're probably about as big as Rush as a household name here.
Yeah, I got invited to that same concert by Concert Steph, and he said, "Well, yeah, we want to try something different and all that." I said, "Yeah, I never tried eating shit, but I know I wouldn't like it." So,
Yeah, you're like, how do you know you're gonna hate it if you have never heard it? And then you,
oh yeah,
I don't have to taste shit to know that I liked it, that I don't like it. Anyway, that's the
and you guys never went to another
nope, never
one of
again.
these
It
kind of
was
shows.
just so boring. But anyway, okay, that's another tangent there. But all right, next up, guys, I'm looking forward to this one here. Overkill, Mr. Keith.
Yeah, Overkill under the influence. It's in the shadow of like a whole bunch of just really classic Overkill albums. That one there. So it's around like Feel the Fire is awesome Overkill album. Taking Over, and then you've got Years of Decay after that. All if when I did my ranking of the Overkill albums, those are all ones that were high, and fans just love those albums. Unfortunately, Under the Influence is sort of in the shadow, I feel, of some of those big albums. But it has got the song Hello from the
Still
Gutter,
excellent though.
which is a really good song. And what I think Shred's on there, and Never Say Never. I think it's actually one of the highest charting albums as well. It was quite
This one
popular, sales wise. And it's got one of the that Overkill do a series of songs called Overkill. I think it's got one of those chapters to that as well. I like that
Overkill
as
3
well.
on this one.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know, Pascal might know. Is that the first album that's got their mascot Charlie on the front? I'm not sure.
I think
But
it was
on
on
the
an
cover
EP.
it's on an EP, was it?
I think it was on an EP before.
Hmm. But it's interesting cover. It's got in the background there's a little window and you can see the Twin Towers in a little window through it. I don't know if you noticed that.
Now that
Right
now
up
that
the
you mention it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting little tidbit there. But yeah, great album. I think it's a great album. Definitely thrash. But one thing I just want to say, I just remembered, I've got this book here, right? It's called A Rough Guide to Heavy Metal.
Hmm.
And this is like a book. I don't remember, you might remember this series of books that they're like travel books, rough guide. There'd be a rough guide to, say, Indonesia, a rough guide. But they started doing rough guide to music, and this
Oh, we
is
call
the
them.
one.
Oh, remember those? You know those yellow books, Pascal? There, uh, dummies. A dummy's guide to this and
Dummies,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Something
Yeah,
for
like
dummies, yeah.
that. But I've got this one, bought it quite cheap. I'm looking through it. Right. I go to O, looking for Overkill. It's got to be in there, right?
Yeah.
It's got Ozzy Osbourne there. It's got Opeth, no, Overkill. There. It's got this band here, Orange Goblin, who I've never heard of. And there's pages about Orange Goblin. It must be the writer's favorite album. There's pictures about Orange Goblin. No Overkill.
Really.
So, I
Mind
think
you,
that
in Martin
sucks.
Popoff's book about the '80s, there's no autograph either. So
Hmm.
sometimes
Oh, that's not true. That can't be true.
it is. Check your '80s Martin Popoff book. There's no autograph at all. I couldn't believe it.
I'm pretty sure
Hmm.
there is. Anyways, I'll check.
He's gonna check because he doesn't believe me. Then he'll text me. He goes, "You were right." Okay, but yeah, Overkill. Good, bad.
Yeah, one of my favorite thrash bands as well, Overkill. Definitely.
Perfect.
And even their later run of albums, Bobby still sounds brilliant.
I
Even
I saw him live with Pascal and
Mm.
his voice, huh, Pascal?
Oh yeah.
I've never heard anything like it. When he did that
Mm.
big scream at the end there, I was like, how does he do that at that age? I couldn't believe
I
it.
know.
I was really impressed, Keith. And I wish
And he's a funny
you would
guy
see
too.
them,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see them.
because I liked it, and I'm not a huge Overkill fan, but like you two are. But I told Pascal, I'm like, yeah, this is actually pretty good here. They played all
Yeah,
their hits.
one of the things, and I guess Keith, it's probably I've seen your episode or your two episodes where you're ranking Overkill, and it looks like you've got the same opinion as I do. Is that they had real good music in the 80s, as you would expect from a band that's emerging from the 80s. They continued doing pretty strong stuff through the 90s. They had their ups and downs, of course, like any band that falls back into being uh, uh, on small labels. But from 2010 onwards, holy shit, they've got a good run.
They have,
Really,
yeah.
they really came back strong. They have at least three albums that I would that from that period that I would say are pretty much as good as anything they released in the 80s.
Wow.
Their last one. What do you
Score,
think of
yeah.
their last one?
Oh, I loved it. Scorched. I thought it was way better than what was it, Winds of War. And I
Yeah,
was listening to that song, The Surgeon, when it first came out, and that's one of my most played songs of that year.
yeah,
Usually, you're saying about Megadeth put out an album every 2 years. Overkill are one of those bands like that, but they took a bit of a break because of COVID, and that it's been about 4 years, and then they came out with Scorched, which was yeah, I really like that album.
yeah,
That's a tour we saw, Scorched.
yeah.
Okay.
They played a couple of songs from that one.
Those are probably the ones I did not know there.
Yeah.
But Pascal, tell Keith I did have an Overkill shirt with "fuck you" back in the high school days, right? I don't know. I can't find a picture with that. And
And I think
Testament,
that's
right?
and I think that's the EP that initiated the Charlie character. I think.
Oh, okay.
I think
Well,
I don't know. I may be wrong about this.
the EP only has the green logo and
Yeah,
the.
but didn't they
Hmm.
have? Anyways, maybe
I
I'm
don't know.
wrong.
I don't know.
I
I know
think Charlie
Keith has
may
it.
have been on the reverse side, but I don't know.
When we finish the show, I'll dig it out and we'll have a look.
Okay.
I've got
Well,
it. I've
but
got it back there.
I did have that. I don't know if it was on a cassette. or a CD at the time, but I did have the shirt, which I wore to school one time just to go visit friends. But yeah, I do have "Fuck You" there, so good one there. Okay, but
And then some.
I think you guys told me that this would be basically your favorite thrash band
Now yeah, for me,
now. Okay,
back in the 80s, you would have asked me the same question, and you probably did. It was Metallica.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, just for the consistency, I think they have like what 20, 21 albums, and I don't think there's anything weak. Like I said, there's been a period in the early 2000s where they were maybe having a bit of a identity crisis, like most bands at some point in their career.
Mhm.
But they, they corrected quite quickly, and these albums are not weak by any stretch.
Cool.
Yeah,
Maybe
that
less.
they put in a bit of groove metal and they tried different things and different vocalists and
Yeah,
with Bobby and
Different
I like
vocalists.
well with doing duets sort of with him
Oh, okay, okay.
and yeah. You know you got to go with the times or you know you just fold a
yeah.
bit. You've got to sort of
Anthrax
go
did the
that way
same.
a little bit. Yeah.
Anthrax did the same thing. They at some point in the 2000s, they introduced a lot of groove metal in their music. It was a logical step to go to if you were a thrash band to go a bit more grunge, not grunge, groove metal. That's pretty much the Pantera sound. You
Mhm.
Hmm.
introduce a bit
Very
of the
popular.
Pantera sound in your music. Uh, it was what they had to do to survive, basically.
Yeah. All right. Two more guys. This one here is Discogs calls it something else, Anthrash. They are a Canadian band, but they're an offshoot of a band Pascal has a lot of. I'm not sure if you know these guys. I'm talking about Razor, but I'm talking about the offshoot called SFH, which Pascal fucking hates.
I used to. It's not that
Oh, you
bad
you
anymore.
know them now?
I've heard of a couple of
Yeah.
things a couple of years ago, and it's not so bad.
They vary from hard rock. No, not hard rock. Heavy rock to thrash. Like they're the singer is Bob Reed. They're from the last days of Razor, I guess, or
I
wait,
think so, yeah.
Keith, I
I don't
don't
know their
think you know
names
these
there.
guys, huh?
I'm just looking at my book.
SFH.
SFH.
That was
Raven.
that
No.
my friends Pascal and Steph, the Steph, not concert Steph, used to bug me for having these albums, and they're not great. They're cheaply made, but there's some good songs on them. But I got that like a couple of years ago. I'm like, oh my god, they have an album on vinyl. These are all like demos and very thrash-ish. Like you'll see with their how they look like right there. But so you don't know these guys, asked Keith.
The book doesn't know. No.
Do you
No.
know Razor?
I've heard of Razor. Yeah.
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 Okay,
And,
well then Pascal will tell
or
us
am I
about
confusing
Razor
Raven?
and
Raven, Razor.
yeah.
I heard it, but heard of them, but don't
Razor's
know. You
Canadian.
know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of Canadian stuff doesn't make its way here. Like if you try and find Exciter, even more probably the one that's Canadian band that's easier to find would be Rush. Their popular albums sometimes see those, but a lot of Rush stuff you don't see. And Voivod, never see any Voivod over here. You're going through all the records. I've seen
Oh.
maybe one Voivod record.
Who are they? Anyway, yeah, go. Anything to say about SFH? No, huh?
Me?
Keith?
No,
Okay.
Pascal then?
sorry.
I don't remember enough, but I don't think I would put them in thrash. Razor, of course,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Like I said, it's heavy rock with thrash songs. Let me put it like if that makes any sense. I don't think they're a thrash band, but Discogs had that album labeled as either speed metal and then comma Thrash. I was like, okay, I'll bring that one.
It could be. I mean, I only know those two songs that had videos
Yeah.
back in the day.
Okay, there's none for that. So last one, Keith, Voivod. Do you know Voivod in New Zealand?
Yeah, I know of the band, and that actual album I had a chance to buy once when I saw it. It was original pressing, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna buy it. But when I asked
This
the
is
guy how much he
original
wanted it,
pressing. It's
yeah,
not
okay.
the music on vinyl reissues of the last year or two.
The guy wanted like an insane amount of money for it, so I passed on it. Uh, but I don't know. Hang on, I might know one song. I've got this album here. Just
Speed.
Speed Kills compilation.
Okay, see, I thought it was
They've
Speed
got
Bites.
one song on here, War and Pain.
First album.
And it says raw but total death love. That's what the comments about it. So I must have heard that song.
Yeah. All right, then, Mr. Pascal. And I know he can go on about Voivod for a while here.
Well, they come from the a region where I grew up.
Yeah.
French Canadians, but they sing in English. What can I say about Voivod? They're about as they fit into thrash about as well as Celtic Frost. They're really experimental. Another experimental band, progressive. They incorporate a lot of progressive elements. Their first two albums are very raw. Their second album is much more punk infused than the first one. The first one's more uh, Black Sabbath on speed. Um, Third one is when they start really getting into thrash, progressive metal, and then Dimension Hatros. They just go more into that, and they kind of, yeah, I wouldn't say they lose the thrash in Dimension Hatros, but they definitely go for more of their own thing. Than other bands. And I don't know for the rest of their career, they keep switching styles. They keep switching what they do, but they remain Voivod. Everything they do sounds like Voivod. Like with
Yeah.
these
They I'll say they have some pretty good, like I got what, 8 albums of those guys?
yeah.
Um their their legacy is starting to go like this, if you ask me. Like Pascal's always texting me, goes, "Oh my God, Voivod was on French TV on this. I forget Belly Bum.
Yeah.
Yeah, that." And I was
Starting
like,
to get recognized. I mean, they're the kind of band that nobody talked about before because it's metal, so people don't
very
talk about.
very underground metal though.
Yeah, but now even the even stuff that they might talk about them on the news now.
Oh yeah, they're here in Canada, or I would say more. No, not in Canada, in the province of Quebec,
Yeah,
big time. They're like, there's 2 shows already. To give you an example, like it's a show like I don't know, David Letterman, or that type of talk show there, like popular like that. One story though I did like about Voivod, and Pascal told me that about the Red Lake. You remember that one?
oh yeah. Well, where they grew up was near a aluminum factory, a
Okay.
huge aluminum factory, and uh, I read somewhere that they say that there was a lake there that was completely red, and it kind of influenced their sci-fi themes. And their stance on pollution in their music. Um, but everything they do is kind of sci-fi
Yeah, yeah,
tinged.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that's what that story was about. The other story I liked about them is that they were too poor on their first two albums, so the drummer, who's also the guy who does all the artwork, had to paint the covers on pizza boxes.
This is on a pizza box?
No, that's the fourth album. But the first two,
Oh, the
apparently,
first two. Okay, gotcha.
those were painted on pizza boxes because he
Really?
couldn't afford a canvas. He couldn't afford a in toile,
So,
whatever.
okay, well, your Red Lake story, first of all, would be wasn't didn't they ask someone saying, "Oh, we want to film our video with that Red Lake you guys keep talking about," and then the government goes, "We have no idea what you're talking about," or something like that. Wasn't it
That's
like
what
that?
I read.
Yeah,
But
I
is it
forget
true
what
or
the
not?
other.
I never been to that Red Lake,
No,
even
well, no. Apparently, it's a Red Lake that exists or does not exist. Who knows there?
yeah, I think it's full of mercury or something. Anyway.
But yeah, Keith, I did while on the Iron Maiden the X Factor tour. I did pee right beside the drummer of Voivod in a urinals.
Wow.
But okay,
If
I
you
don't know
guys, if you guys were to recommend one album from Voivod, which one would you recommend? Angel Rat or Dimension Hatros? Which
if it
one?
was me, I would say Angel Rat, but probably Pascal would say something else.
I would say Dimension Hatros or Killing Technology. If you
Okay.
know, if for their the best of their 80s stuff. They're a band a bit like Overkill. Their last three albums are awesome.
Hmm.
So they came
Mm,
back to more of what they did in the 80s, but again, they put a new spin on things, and their last three are excellent.
okay.
Perfect. All right, now comes a time where Pascal and Keith will each recommend me a band or slash album from the thrash metal world. So, Mr. Keith, why don't you start us off here?
Okay, picks for Dan. Uh, this is a newer thrash group from New Zealand. It,
I
a
love
lot
that.
of people,
I saw that. I love the cover.
if it's got one of those logos that are hard to read, it looks like someone on another channel mentioned it, they thought it was called Gourd, the title
Goring,
there.
I could see.
Gourd, yeah,
G
it looks like that. But the
R I
actual
D.
name of the band is Extorted. And
I couldn't.
yeah, Extorted, and it's called Cognitive Dissonance. This is a modern thrash production type thing. If you like it depends if you like the older thrash sound. A lot of people like just love the old thrash sound and the go, but this is a modern thrash album. I'll recommend this for you because it's short. It's quite short.
Okay.
There's only if you don't like it, you can, if it's wearing on you, you can just, but there's enough great riffs and great music in here uh, to enjoy.
I do.
But
Pascal, is that the artist? That looks like that artist you were talking about the other day.
No, well, I don't know. It's not. It wasn't done by Ed Repka. It does look a bit
yeah,
like it.
it
It
Did you
is.
see
was.
that album cover?
Yeah, yeah, it
It looks
was.
like his style.
Yeah,
Yeah,
A lot of bright
yeah.
colors, I find,
yeah, and
Mm.
and
and skulls.
skeleton heads and skulls. Yeah. Ah, so that's Ed Repka. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know how they got that. It must have cost them a few dollars. But I think you might like Party Thrash, like this National Suicide one
I got
here.
those. I got those from your metal barbecue episode.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got both. I think they only have two albums, right?
Yeah.
I got
Yeah, only
both
a
of them.
few, but I enjoyed that one. I enjoy, Dan might like it's cleaner vocals and there's more fun element to it that you might enjoy. Like the other one's more serious.
All right.
But oh, cool. I'm glad you watched that one. Yeah, that was fun doing it. I just had time and I thought I'll just throw together a video, play some music.
How many barbecues are you doing right now? None, right?
No, too cold.
Us, it's barbecue
Mm.
season right now.
Yeah, barbecue time for you guys.
Yeah. All right, Pascal, which one do you have?
Okay. I'm going back to the heydays, 1990. This is the box set I have of it. It's a band called Artillery.
Uh-huh. I
It
know the
has 12
name.
albums in it, so I have to show you in here a small little thing. The album is called By Inheritance from Artillery, 1990. Um, the reason why I'm recommending this to you is it's really thrash, but it's a band that knew at this point how to inject melody
Okay.
into their thrash. So I know that you're keen on hooks and stuff being catchy. I think there's some of that in there. And they got a good mix of songs. You can really differentiate the songs
Cool.
one from the other. Got a good singer. So that's their third album,
Okay.
By Inheritance.
Artillery by Inheritance and the oh my God, National Assault. I forget the name. What was yours, Keith?
National Suicide?
National
Extorted.
Suicide.
Oh, national suicide. Yeah,
Okay.
national
And
suicide.
extorted, of course. Yeah.
Yeah,
Party
Massacre
thrash.
Elite. It's
Never even
called.
heard that term.
Well, you could listen to some Tankard. There's a few sort of along that ways. You know, you don't have to get into the serious stuff. You know.
Well, let's start with one. Pascal told me, he's go, "Are you actually going to buy it?" Well, we'll put in the wish list first, and then we'll go from there, and I'll let you guys know if I do purchase it. So, all right. Anything you guys want to add here?
Not that I
No,
can think
pretty
of.
good.
No,
All right. Well,
I think
this
we've done
was
well.
the
We've covered a lot.
yeah. Well, that was an hour, right?
A
So,
little more, yeah.
all right then. I want to thank you guys for doing this thrash episode. Hopefully we learn a little bit more about thrash here for all you hair metal hard rock guys that don't really usually know thrash. Like myself, I've learned all my thrash from this guy and our other friend Eric. Those were the two thrash guys in our high school at the time. I remember borrowing, like I said, that Anthrax, the yellow one there, State of
Yeah.
Euphoria and Metallica and Justice for All. And I remember Eric goes, "Oh my God, Dan's gonna listen to his first thrash." Like it was almost like a prank, you know. But here we are, 30 years later. I got some thrash in my, and I think of all those bands, probably Megadeth and Voivod, I have the most of each band. So, all right. Well, on that note, guys, thank you guys for watching. Thanks to Pascal and Keith for joining me on this special thrash episode. And on that note, we shall see you guys later. Have yourselves a great whatever, guys, and we shall see you guys next episode. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.